Good morning, dear students. So today we are doing the poem Foreign Lands, which is written by Robert Louis Stevenson. So the name of the poem is Foreign Lands and the name of the poet is Robert Louis Stevenson. So now let's start with the poem. Up into the cherry tree, who should climb but little me? I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad in foreign lands. So now, in this first stanza, the poet is talking about a cherry tree. The poet is asking that who will climb upon the cherry tree, right? The poet is asking the question that who should climb but little me? Along with the question, the poet is answering as well. The question which is asked by the poet is that who should climb the cherry tree, right? Who should climb up the cherry tree? And the answer is also itself given by the poet, and the poet is saying little me. That in here the poet is a little boy who is trying to climb up a cherry tree. So that's why the poet is answering his question also, that he is going to climb up the cherry tree. I held the trunk with both my hands and looked abroad in foreign lands. So now what happened? Now as you can see in the picture that the poet has climbed up the cherry tree, right? The poet has climbed up the cherry tree, and because the tree is a bit higher, right? The tree is a bit taller. So that's why in order to protect himself from falling, so that the poet may not fall down, that's why the poet is holding the tree with its trunk. Right, the poet is holding the tree's trunk. So I held the trunk with both my hands. You can see in the picture also that the poet is holding the trunk of the tree and looked abroad in foreign lands. So you can see that he's looking over the tree. He's looking like whatever he can see, and the place which he's observing, he's calling that place as the foreign lands. Alright, whatever he's able to observe after climbing upon the cherry tree, the poet is terming it to be foreign lands. Alright. Now let's come to this. So in the first stanza, we have seen that the poet is trying to climb up a cherry tree. And after climbing up the cherry tree, the poet was holding the tree's trunk with both his hands. And he's looking abroad in foreign lands. Alright. He's looking across the land. He's trying to see beyond where he was standing. Alright, he was trying to see beyond where he was. I saw the next door garden lie, adorned with flowers before my eye, and many pleasant places, more that I had never seen before. So we can see that in this second stanza, the poet is telling us whatever he has seen in the foreign lands, whatever the poet has observed in the foreign lands. Alright, whatever view, whatever he has seen in the foreign lands. So that is what is being explained in this stanza. So what is the first thing that he saw? I saw the next door garden lie. First he saw a garden, right? And now he's describing the garden. Adorned with flowers before my eye. So adorned with flowers means that there were so many flowers in that garden. Alright, the garden was completely adorned means like decorated. The garden was completely decorated with flowers. Alright, before my eye. Before my eye means he was able to see them. He was able to see all the flowers which were there in the garden, which were looking as if they are decorated. Alright, then, and many pleasant places, more that I had never seen before. And other than this garden and the flowers which were there, he had seen many pleasant places, many more pleasant places, many more beautiful places. Alright, and these pleasant places, these beautiful places he had never seen before. It was his first time that he was observing, he was looking at such pleasant places, such beautiful places. Alright, he had never seen them before. So this was our second stanza, in which the poet is describing us what he has seen in the foreign lands after he has climbed up the cherry tree. Now coming on to the third stanza, in here also he's telling us whatever else he has seen other than the garden. Alright, other than the garden, what what all other observations that he had, he's explaining us in this stanza. I saw the dimpling river pass, and be the sky's blue looking glass. The dusty roads go up and down, with people tramping into town. So now, here, the first thing in the third stanza, the first thing that the poet is telling us is the dimpling river, right? Is the dimpling river. Do you know what is a dimple? Dimple means when there is some bent, when there is some shape, right? Some people have dimple on their face also. So what does that mean? That there is a kind of bent, there is a kind of there is a kind of that skin from that area, it goes inside the face while you're smiling, right? So dimple means when there is a kind of bent, all right, when there is a kind of bent in something. So here dimpling river means the river which has waves. Alright, here dimpling river means the river which has waves. Because if you have seen the waves, then what happens is, this is how the waves look like. So you can see that they are bending over here like this, right? They are bending over here like this. So this is what we call dimpling river. That the river had many dimples inside it. That the river had many waves inside it. That's why we are calling it as a dimpling river. So other than the garden, what else he has seen? He has seen a dimpling river. Dimpling river means the river which has waves in it. Alright? Then, and be the sky's blue looking glass. So now children, other than this, we have seen that the rivers which are very neat, which are very clean. What happens in them? They appear to be blue in color, right? The rivers which are very clean, which are very neat, they appear to be blue in color. So that's why the poet is calling the clean river as the sky's blue looking glass. Alright, the poet is calling it as the blue looking glass. Because the river was so neat, the river was so clean that it was appearing to be a kind of a glass. Alright, as you can see in the picture also. See here you can see that what are these? These are all the waves which are there in the river, right? So this is what the poet is calling it to be, dimpling. And you can see the color also. The color is blue, right? And you must have seen whenever we go close to water, we can see our reflection in the water, right? We can see our reflection in the water. We can see ourselves in the water. And that is the same thing which we can see ourselves in the mirror also. Right? In the mirror also we get our reflection, and in the river also we get our reflection. That's why we are calling the river to be the sky's blue looking glass. Alright? Means looking glass. Looking glass means mirror. Alright? Looking glass means a mirror. Right? So, and why are we calling it blue looking glass? Because it is in the color of sky. Right? The color of sky and the color of river are the same. That is blue. Alright, that's why we are calling the river to be sky's blue looking glass. Means the blue looking mirror. Alright. Now, other than the river, the poet is also describing us about the roads. So, what is the poet telling us about the roads? The poet is telling that the dusty roads go up and down with people tramping into town. Right. So, what is happening? The poet is telling us about the roads, that the roads are very dusty. The roads are very dusty means that there is a lot of dust over the roads. There is a lot of sand over the roads. Alright, the roads are not proper. Right, the roads are not proper. The roads are not flat. The roads are not fine. They are very dusty. Dusty means there is a lot of sand. There is a lot of dust which is there over the roads. And what else the poet is telling us? The poet is saying that they go up and down. Alright, the poet is telling us that the dusty roads, they go up and down. Up and down means that the roads are bumpy. Alright, the roads are bumpy. The roads are not flat. The roads are not proper. The roads are not flat. Rather, they are bumpy. Bumpy means there are some different kinds of stones which may be there, or there may be some pits in the road, or maybe there are some kinds of uneven roads. Alright, so that's why up and down. Here the dusty roads go up and down, means the roads are very dusty, they have a lot of sand, they have a lot of dust over them, and other than that the roads go up and down. Up and down means that they are bumpy, they are uneven. Alright, the roads are uneven, the roads are not flat. Alright, then with people tramping into town. Now we can see that because the roads are not proper, the roads are bumpy, the roads are uneven, the roads are not flat. That's why the people tramp into the town. Alright, with people tramping into town. Tramping means when someone walks very slowly. Alright, tramping means when someone walks very slowly. So as we know, because the roads are not proper, if we will not walk slowly, if we will try to run on such kinds of roads, then what will happen? We will injure ourselves. Alright, that's why the people, they walk very slowly. Alright, the people over there, they walk very slowly. So in order to save themselves from any kind of injury. Alright. So we have seen that in the third stanza, the poet is describing us about the river, and the poet is describing us about the roads also. Alright. So now let's come to the fourth stanza. If I could find a higher tree, farther and farther I should see, to where the grown-up river slips into the sea among the ships. So now let's see what the poet is telling us in the fourth stanza. Right now we know that the poet is on a cherry tree, right? In the beginning only we got to know that the poet is on a cherry tree. But in the fourth stanza, the poet is saying that if I could find a higher tree. Now the poet wants to see even beyond what he was able to see from the cherry tree. Alright? This garden, the pleasant places, river, roads, these are the things that the poet was able to see after he had climbed on the cherry tree. Right? So now the poet is thinking that if he could climb a much higher tree, right? A comparatively taller tree than the cherry tree, then he could see farther and farther. He could see even more things than these. Alright? He could see more than what is beyond the garden, what is beyond the river, what is beyond the roads. Alright? So if he could climb a higher tree, if he would be at a greater height, then he can see farther and farther. He can see at a much, much greater distance. Alright? After that, and what did he wanted to see at a distance? To where the grown-up river slips into the sea among the ships. So now children, this you must have studied in your EVS also, that what happens when the water comes from the rivers, then all the rivers, where do they go? They go into the seas or they go into the oceans, right? All the rivers at the end they merge into the oceans only, or they merge into the sea only, right? So what is the poet telling us? The poet is saying that if he could see farther, if the poet could see farther than he was observing from the cherry tree, then he could see the grown-up river slipping into the sea. Alright, means when the river merges into the sea. Alright, this means when the river merges into the sea. Alright, so and what else we can see in the sea? That the ships are also there in the sea, right? The ships are also there in the sea. And what happens? All the water from the river, it goes into the sea. And in the sea, we can see all the ships. Alright? So the poet wanted to climb up a higher tree as compared to a cherry tree. And after climbing up that tree, he could see farther and farther. And what did he wanted to see? He wanted to see the place, the location where the river merges into the sea. And in the sea, the ships are already present. Alright, so this is what the poet told us in the fourth stanza. Now coming to the last stanza. To where the road on either hand lead onward into fairyland, where all the children dine at 5 and all the playthings come alive. So now in the fifth stanza, the poet is telling us that other than seeing the river merging into the sea, the poet wanted to see one more thing. And what is that thing? The poet wanted to see the fairyland. Alright, the poet wanted to see the fairyland. And what did he want to, because what has he heard about the fairyland? He has heard that in the fairyland, all the children dine at 5. Dine means they do dinner. Alright? All the children dine at 5 means all the children who live in the fairyland, they have their dinner at 5. means they have their dinner at 5 p.m. Alright, and all the playthings come alive, means whatever plaything means the toys, alright, all the toys, everything, they come alive. So the poet is saying that he wanted to see the fairyland because he has heard that in the fairyland all the children dine at 5 and all the playthings like the toys, they come alive. Alright, because this happens with this must be happening with you also. Whenever you play with your toys, whenever you play with your any kind of gifts or your toys that you like the most, sometimes you want them to speak to you, right? So that you can play with them even well. So that is why the poet also wanted to see the fairyland, so that he can also dine with other children. He can also have dinner with other children at 5 p.m. And other than that, all his toys would come alive. Alright, so children, so this was our poem Foreign Lands, which was telling us about the boy who is far away from his home, right? This is the boy who is far away from his home and he has come somewhere to climb up a cherry tree. Alright, this boy has come at a place so that he could climb a cherry tree and he wanted to see the things that he can see beyond that cherry tree. Alright, whatever he could observe. And we have seen that after climbing up the cherry tree, because he was afraid that he might fall, that's why he was holding the trunk of the tree very tightly and he was looking abroad in the foreign lands. And what has he seen in the foreign lands? He has seen that there is a garden which is decorated with the flowers, and there are many pleasant places which he had never seen before. Other than that, he has seen a dimpling river also. Dimpling river means the river which has waves, right? And the river is being called sky's blue looking glass. Blue looking glass means it is looking like a mirror which is blue in color. Other than that, what has he seen? He has seen dusty roads which go up and down, means bumpy roads, uneven roads or non-flat roads which are very dusty, which have a lot of dust over them. And because the roads are not proper, the roads are not adequate, that's why the people walk very slowly over the roads. After that, now when the poet has observed so many things, he is still willing to see even more things beyond than this. Then what does he want then? He wants to climb up a higher tree in comparison to the cherry tree, because so that he could see farther and farther, so that he could see at a much greater distance. And what did he wanted to see? He wanted to see the place where the river merges into the sea among the ships. Alright, because we know that in the sea, ships are already present. And in the last stanza, the poet is telling he wants to see that he wants to see that road, means there is this road, whether you go in this direction, whether you go in this direction, whether you go towards left, whether you go towards right, in both the direction you will go into the fairyland only. Means ultimately both of these places will merge at a one place, which is your fairyland. Alright, and what the poet has told us about the fairyland? The poet has told us that all the children, they dine at 5, they have their dinner at 5 p.m. and all the plaything, means all the toys, they come alive in the fairyland. Alright, so this is all about our poem Foreign Lands. Okay, so children, this was our poem Foreign Lands. The question answers are already shared with you in the group. You can easily see them. Let's just quickly discuss a few. The child in the poem climbs a cherry tree, imagines a cherry tree, has never seen a cherry tree, or does not like cherry trees. So the answer is A, climbs a cherry tree. Then the child saw another cherry tree, a garden and a river, a lake and a river, a looking glass. We know that the child has seen a garden and a river. Then the child would like to look at the place where the river joins the sea, at the sea in the morning, at the river coming out of the sea, at all the rivers in the world. We know that the answer is A, that at the place where the river joins the sea. So B part, C part and D part, these answers are shared with you. So children, this is all about our poem Foreign Lands. So just go through this again. Alright, and have a good day.